everyone says you should invest every extra dollar, but I don't think that's necessarily always true, and I do believe that saving can be a better financial move for you, but all depending on where you are in your financial journey. I'm gonna start off with this. Should you save or should you invest? Money, it depends. I'm not gonna wait to end the video to say that. I'm gonna say that right now. It depends where you are in your financial journey, what you're doing right now with your money, and we're gonna talk about that later in the video, but it really depends whether you should save or invest your money. So first, before we even talk about whether you should save or invest, we need to know where we are financially. Ask yourself, do you have an emergency fund? Do you have high interest credit card debt? Do you have high interest debt anywhere? Do you have a high interest car loan? Do you have a high interest personal loan? Do you have a high interest line of credit? Also, ask yourself if you're contributing enough to retirement. When I say enough, how much you're spending in expenses monthly, multiply that by 12, and then multiply that by 25, and that's gonna be the amount of money that you need to save for retirement to cover your future expenses. And also, what's your financial goal? Are you trying to save for a house? Do you just want to save for retirement? Do you want to save for a car? Do you want to save for vacation? Or do you just want to stuff as much money into your retirement account that you can? So if you're carrying a credit card at 20%, then paying that off is often one of the best returns you can get, because even if you were to invest that money into the market, it's still a losing game because the market's going to give you a return of maybe 10% over a long period of time. So the credit card company making 20% while your money is making 10%, and you're paying that 20% to the credit card company. So you want to pay that off as soon as possible. So it may not make sense to invest. It maybe makes sense to actually pay that off or grow a 1 month or a 2 month emergency fund so you can have some cushion and then pay off that credit card debt. And again, if you don't have an emergency fund, this should probably come before you start investing, because again, you want to have that cushion for when emergencies happen. So if you don't have an emergency fund but you're investing a whole lot of money, then you may want to take a pause. You may want to invest a little bit less so you could build that 3 to 6 month to even 8, 9 to a year worth of money in your savings account, high yield savings account only. Nowadays, you just never know. People are getting laid off. There's so much going on in the world. I feel like you should have a good bit of money that can be accessed at a drop of a hat. If you need it, you just go straight to your high yield savings account, pull it out so you're not relying on credit cards to pay off these emergencies. When they're not paid off, money you pay for this credit card is going at a 20% interest rate. You're gonna start to get behind. I would say put a pause on investing, especially if you have high interest credit card debt. And then if you don't have an emergency fund, then I would definitely put a pause on that as well. Also, every dollar has a purpose. I would not say to just blindly invest your money or blindly save your money. What is the purpose of this next dollar? What is the purpose of this extra money that I have in my account? Are you trying to save for a house? Are you trying to save for a car? Are you trying to save for vacation? And maybe that money should not go into an investment account. Are you trying to save for a emergency fund? We have to give every dollar a job. This is something that we're kind of doing, so we are able to save a lot of money because we're in the house hack, right? Should we put majority of that money to our savings account, or should we put majority of that money to our investments? And right now we're deciding to put majority of that extra money from our budget into our savings account because we want to make sure that we have a nicely funded emergency fund. Also talking about moving, so we make sure that we have enough money to move. When we spend $2,000 or $3,000, however much it costs to move, we still have a good amount of money in that account that we have enough for an emergency fund. We also like to go on vacation. We pay for vacations out of our savings account. And we believe that we invest enough money. I mean, of course, you can always invest more, and it's always good to invest more because you never know what's gonna happen. But if we decide that we want to invest more, we at least have that cushion to be like, okay, now we can kind of pivot, because whether we bought a house already or whether we bought another car, whatever we're gonna do with the savings account, we can now pivot to investing that money instead. At this moment in life, for us, it's all about saving because we're talking about getting another house in 1 to 3 years. So we want to make sure that we have that money accessible, because who knows what happens when we put that on the market. We're going to talk about that later in the video. But to be honest, your goals in life determine where this money goes. So when exactly does investing make sense? I would say you have a fully funded emergency fund. 3 to 6 months, let's lean to 6 months. That's a lot of money. We're talking about $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 depending on what your monthly expenses are. So you have an emergency fund established. You don't have any high interest debts. You're contributing enough to retirement to stay on track. Maybe you should contribute a little bit more, but you can literally run these numbers. I now have an investment calculator. You can run your numbers in there, see how much money you should be contributing for 20 or 30 years. However old you're gonna be when you retire, you need to put that number in. 20 years, you're going to invest $700. Say it grows at a 7 or 8% rate of return, put that in the market, you're gonna get your answer. That's how much money you need to continue to invest every single month so that you have enough money in retirement. It shouldn't be a surprise to you how much money you have in retirement in 20 or 30 years from now, especially if you're using investment calculators and being a little bit conservative with the numbers. You don't want to say you're going to get a 10% or 12% rate of return over 20 years because it's just not very likely. You want to be a little bit conservative when you're putting your numbers into these investment calculators, so when you are at retirement age, you're not caught off guard by how much money you thought you was going to have back when you were younger. Also, I think it makes sense to invest your money if you don't need it for the next 10, maybe 5 or 7 years. Time goes on. the difference between investing and saving this money is gonna grow and grow and grow. So if you don't need this money for the next 10 years, or if you already have a house, you already have your car, you already have everything you kind of need, then maybe it would make more sense to invest that money into the markets than to actually just save that money, especially over a long period of time. And if you can handle the emotional volatility of the market, I mean, this is just something that you're gonna have to do. And if you invest your money into funds that track the SP 500, BOO, FXAIX, the funds that I talk about all the time, there's a lot of funds out there that are considered safer than just investing into individual stocks. So if you invest in those funds and you look at those funds, and over a 20-year period, those funds have given a 7 to 10% rate of return, it's not so bad to invest those funds. Yes, there's going to be years when there's down. There's going to be years when maybe it's negative 20. There's going to be a year when you get plus 20, or maybe it's down 7% or 6%. That's still okay, but there's going to be other years when it's up 8 or 10%. We need to be comfortable with investing our money. It's not as risky as you think. It's not gambling. This money is for retirement. It's for 20, 25, 30 years from now. Market downturns are not going to bother me. I'm going to continue to invest my money. I'm not going to just save because I don't want to invest my money into the markets, because like I said, you're investing for a long time. So your money's going to go down. Your money's going to go up. It's going to be looking like a roller coaster sometime. But over time, you're going to increase your wealth by investing your money. So let me do some math for you guys. I'm gonna pull out my investment calculator. I have my phone here, so you might see me looking down. You can get the link to this calculator in the description below. You don't want to just chase higher returns. The difference between investing and saving can be a good bit, especially if you're keeping your money in these investments or in the saving accounts for a long term. I would say you should save your money if you have a goal for it, and it's for a short-term goal. Like I said, if you're saving for a house, I would say to save that money, because the volatility of the market for 2 years of those 5 years that you're saving for a house, it could be down 20%. Like, it's crazy. So I would say save your money for those 2 years, but at the end of the day, it's personal finances and it's up to you. So let's pull out the investment calculator. Let's say you have $30,000 in your savings account. It's giving you a 3.5% rate of return. We're gonna always save our money in a high yield savings account, because a normal savings account gives you no money. A high yield savings account is at least gonna give you some money. Let's say you're contributing $1,000 a month to your high yield savings account, and the reason you contribute this money is to save for a house, to save for a vacation, or you're saving for your emergency fund. Whatever it is, $30,000 would probably be a good emergency fund anyway. You're doing this for 3 years. The final balance would be $71,000. You see that down there? $71,000 is how much you would have if you literally save that money for 3 years, which of course it might be 60 or 65,000, because we're going to be spending some of that money. It's in a high yield savings account. I mean, maybe we went over our budget a little bit, or we spend it on vacation. Like, you can't assume that this is the amount of money that's always going to be here for 3 years. Like, you're going to more than likely spend from your savings account. Let's say we were to invest this money. Let's say it grew at a 9% rate of return. Over the same period of time, a 9% rate of return is going to be $80,000. So we have this difference of $80,000 to, what was it, $71,000? Make it easy. Let's say $70,000. So we're talking about a $10,000 difference of the amount of money that you'll have in your savings account compared to your high yield savings account. Now, if you're a wealth builder, if you're actually out here investing your money into the market, out here actually funding your accounts, $10,000 is not a crazy difference if you have a goal for this money. If this goal was to save a house, I have $70,000, or I could have had $80,000. And this $80,000 is not even gonna be $80,000, because when you pull out, you're gonna pay taxes. So maybe it's $3,000, or however much taxes you're gonna pay on your gains. You're gonna pay that on this money that was invested. So it's not even $80,000. So now the difference could be $7,000. At the end of the day, if you're a wealth builder, I just don't feel like the difference in the money that you'll have saved compared to the money that you'll have invested is that big of a deal. $10,000, like I said, it's a lot of money. But I don't think that it's something that we're gonna lose sleep about. Now, if we were to extend this over a long period of time, we're gonna see a bigger difference, because compound interest is pulling at 8 or 10% compared to that 3.5%. And we know that the longer our money's in the market, the more it's gonna grow, especially if you're contributing to that money, and that compound interest is working in your favor. Now, there's a problem when it comes to investing short-term money. First thing is that markets don't move in a straight line. The market could literally be down for 3 years, and you could be at 5% or at 3%, which is the same as you would have been in a high yield savings account. It could be -5, -10. So markets don't move in a straight line. You know, say right before you buy something, or right before you invest a big chunk of money, the market could literally crash the next day. And that's the reality. Is it likely? More than likely not, but it can happen. So if you would actually put this money that you were saving for a house or saving for a car in a high yield savings account, you wouldn't have to deal with that market volatility. So now that down payment that you were saving for that house is worth thousands of dollars less than if you were to just invest that money into a safe high yield savings account that's giving you a 3 or maybe a 4% rate of return, your money would have been a lot more safer there. So now if you invest this money and it actually goes down, or the market actually crashes, or something bad happens to it and you lose this money, you're forced to delay buying a house or delay buying your vehicle or sell your investments at a loss. This is why many people should keep your short-term savings in a high yield savings account. It won't make you rich, but it will give you some certainty. So at the end of the day, investing is not your automatic answer. If investing holds you back from your financial goals because you have all this money tied up into some volatile stock or into a volatile market, then maybe saving would be the better goal for you. If you have a short-term goal, I would say to save that money. If you have a long-term goal, maybe you want to buy a house in 10 years, then maybe you can invest that money, but keep an eye on it when the market goes down, especially once you get close to taking that money out. You may want to start investing into something a little bit safer so that you're not losing all your money when you're about to pull it out. Smartest financial decision matches your goals, not someone else. So it's really all goal-oriented. Some finance is personal, and it's up to you for what you need to do with your money and what purpose your money is going to serve you. But it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can literally do both. You can save part of your money and you can invest part of your money. Priorities change over time. I mean, just a few years ago, I was focused on paying off my student loans, and now I only put the minimum and I put more money towards my retirement. Priorities change, goals change, and you have to be able to adapt to the change that's going on in your life. So the question isn't whether saving or investing is better. It's when do I need this money? Do I need it in 2 years or do I need it in 10, 15, or 20 years? And based off everything I said from this video, you should know the answer for yourself. But whatever you do, make sure you're doing one or the other. We should always be saving and we should always be investing something. We cannot invest and not save. We have to do one or the other. Don't think about it too much. Definitely if you want to have retirement and a nicely funded retirement, then we're going to want to invest this money. You want to make sure that we're doing something and not just keeping this money in a checking account or keeping this money under your mattress. We want to make sure this money is growing day by day, year by year. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and hopefully you got some kind of answer out of this video, whether you should save or invest. Also, check out the links in the description below. Mint Mobile, greatest phone bill out there. Hopefully we get a sponsor from them. That'll be so cool. One of the greatest phone plans out there. Literally, me and my wife were paying $60 a month for our phones, and it's been great. So with that extra money, we can save or invest that money. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.